Kids Playground!
Hooray!
This is the Deron Harris Podcast. Here's your host, Deron Harris.
Yo, what's goody two shoes, folks? Welcome back to the podcast. Thanks for joining me this week. How's your mental health? Hopefully it was good. Mine's been tested this week. There's a lot of shit going on. A lot of shit going on in the world, and that's what I'm talking about today on today's program, is all the problems that we're facing here in the United States. We got a lot of shit going on, man, all of a sudden, like a bunch of it. We got impending World War III. We got another mass shooting. We just elected a Speaker of the House who doesn't believe in climate change. There's so much shit going on in the United States all of a sudden. But there have been a couple of positive notes. Some voter lines got redrawn in Georgia, allowing more access to black voters. So, big ups to that. But the majority of the shit that we looking at lately is going kind of sideways, folks. So, like I said, that's what we'll be talking about today on the show. But like I was saying, how's your mental health this week, folks? Mine has been tested a lot this week. There's been a lot of stuff in the news, a lot of stuff around the house, a lot of stuff going on with my wife. Things are still a little stressful. Not really saying that it's negative, but I'm saying that it's been a little, I guess, a little worth watching a little more. So I've been watching myself a little bit more. I've been noticing things a little bit more. Starting to have some elderly guy problems. I'm not really elderly, but I'm starting to get some elderly or older gentleman problems I'm starting to have some visceral fat around the midsection. I've never had that before. That's scaring the shit out of me. That, and I've had some gray ear hair that has just shown up on the scene along with some gray nose hair. And that too has scared the shit out of me. So that has prompted me to start trying to take a little bit better care of myself. I've put together a workout regimen and also a meditation regimen to try and help myself along with my mental state, because that's where it is. That's where everything is. If I'm starting to look at myself in the mirror and go, oh, you got a gut now, and then all of a sudden, you can't see your feet, you start feeling bad about yourself. But I don't want to get there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be proactive. And I'm going to stand right up. I'm going to take charge and do what I can to maintain my vitality and get my six-pack back. Because, I was quite the specimen back in high school. I'm just fucking with y'all. But yeah, I want to get back to being where I was a little more healthy and I didn't have so much visceral fat. And part of that is my fault. Like I said, I'm a baker. I've said that in a few other podcasts. I love to bake. So I'm always eating a lot of sweets. So it's therapeutic for me. So I do use it as therapy, but I'm going to have to start trying to figure out something else, or either I'm going to have to stop baking and making things. So I'm trying to figure out how to make stuff with organic coconut sugar and better materials, because I'm not going to stop eating certain shit. I'm just not going to do it, even though I should. But therein lies that mentality. That's another thing that is a problem for mine as of late also, is that mentality that me and so many other people in my community share that same. We can know something is killing us, but we always say, oh yeah, but that shit is good. And we use that as an excuse to go ahead and indulge in bad shit. So I'm making a conscious effort. My wife and I both, especially since she just went through surgery, she wants to eat better, and I want to eat better with her, although we did have some pretty poor food the past couple of days. But we are on the farewell tour of shit that we're never going to eat again. I'm trying to save Chinese food for last. She wants to have tacos and fajitas last. I want to have Chinese food last. So we're saving up for that. But in the meantime, we're getting geared up to start meal prepping. We're reading labels more. I talked about this a couple of podcasts ago about the things that are in our food. So I'm a little more conscious about what's going in our food, because what we put in our mouth definitely affects our mood and what we go through in life. So why not? Why not be more conscious of what you eat? I have a friend that every time I think about what she did, it just blows my mind. She completely turned her life around and has become an inspiration to me and my wife and her husband and other people around her. So, shout out to my friend Allison Yandel. She is amazing. She is a shining example of how to overcome your own inner demons, to put yourself first in order to bring out the best in yourself so you can live and have that best quality of life. So if I could follow a little bit in her footsteps, I would be happy. So hopefully my wife and I can stick to it. We have a shit ton of problems in the United States all of a sudden. Like a bunch of problems. All right, let's start at the top. And today is really kind of going to be more of a potluck. I don't really have a specific topic. There's so many things that I was reading and was looking at this week that I just had to kind of maybe just cover a few things as opposed to just one thing. So today I'm just going to, like I said, it's just going to be a potluck of some of the things that I've read over the past week that have come to my attention that kind of bother me or kind of make me celebrate or make me pissed or whatever it is. So I'm going to start right off the bat. We had another mass shooting. 18 people dead. 13 more people injured. And that's as of now in Maine. In Lewiston, Maine. Now, I'm not going to say this guy's name because I don't want to give him any power. And from what I understand, this dude's still at large. From what I understand, he could be caught by now, but I don't see anything saying that they caught this motherfucker. So he's still out there. This guy stopped at a bar. And then he went to a bowling alley and shot up a bunch of shit, man. Shot up a bunch of people. And here we are again in the United States with a mass shooting problem. We got a mass shooting problem, folks. What are we going to do about it? What can we do about it? I mean, we try and pass legislation to, help with gun laws, but it seems like anytime anybody talks about gun laws, people get their ass so tied up in a fucking knot that nothing ever gets done. Oh, yeah, you're trying to take our... No, we're just trying to figure out how to stop people from just walking into a bowling alley and killing a bunch of people. How to stop people from walking into a school or a grocery store or a concert. And these are... Listen. This isn't even like the Taliban or Hamas. These are American citizens attacking American citizens. It's domestic terrorism by Americans. This guy served in the army. Or I think it was the army. One of the army, he served in, he got awards. He was a firearms expert. So he was trained. And that's what's happening. Are we training a homegrown militia? These guys are willing to go spend 4 years in boot camp to learn their craft, blah, 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 only to come home and use the same skills that they learned in the military to use against their own countrymen. Is that what it, because that's what it looks like. That's what it seems that this situation is. But they did say this guy had some mental health issues. He had some serious mental health issues. And that's a big deal also. I mean, he was in the military. Nobody could see this. Nobody saw this. Nobody could screen that. I mean, people need help, man. There's people out here that need help. If they don't get help, these are the things that happen. This is the type of shit that happens if people cannot get the adequate help that they need to cope with the things that are going on in life and in the world today. These things are hurting people. There are people in this country right now who have family in both Palestine and Israel, in both Russia and the Ukraine. There are people here that we know, that I know personally, that have people there that are just a mess. They're a mess because they don't know. There's uncertainty. They don't know if their loved ones are dead or alive, if they're safe or if they're hostages. They have no idea. Just like we don't know what's going on. What's going on? We have no idea what the hell is going on. Okay? We could wake up tomorrow. Literally wake up tomorrow and be, at World War III. We could wake up to sirens, to bomb sirens, literally at any moment at this point. We are trying to tread as gingerly as we can. And there are people oh man, we should fuck them up. We should just go ahead and get them. And, Biden's so weak and whatever. Listen, no. Listen. It's really easy to say that, but make no mistake about it. If we start bombing on them, people are going to start bombing on us. And do you fucking want that? Is that what you want? For us to get involved so people can start launching off their nuclear bullshit over here? Is that what you want? Huh? Mr. Patriot? Is that what you want, Mr. Warmonger? Is to go over there and show everybody who's boss? Is that what you want? To get everybody killed? Because that's what you're doing. That's what you're provoking. That's what you're egging on. Oh, Joe Biden's a pussy. I'd go over there and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Man. And that's why you're not the fucking president. That's what, not that I'm like kissing Joe Biden's ass. Let's make no mistake about it. I'm not doing any of that. But I got to commend the guy for trying to tread lightly, man. For trying to tread lightly. Because really, if he was just a dumbass and went in there guns a-blazing, we'd be at war right now. And make no mistake about it, war is not like it used to be. We used to be, America's at war. That means we send a bunch of stuff over to another country and we fight war, and it's guns and tanks and some rockets. But now anybody can obtain a nuclear weapon almost. Anybody, or nuclear. Anybody can obtain one of these weapons. And make no mistake about it, there are people now smart enough to build them. Remember Osama bin Laden? Remember him? He had money. That dude had a lot of money. And there's a lot of dudes out there in the desert with a lot of cash, a lot of money to move around. Oh, well, it's hard to get a nuclear weapon. Well, it depends on how much money you have. And if you have a bunch of money, you'd be surprised at how easy it becomes to get shit. Now, as far as this war is concerned over in Israel, my thoughts are this. They're both wrong. And the reason why they're both wrong is because nobody is considering civilian life. They're just angry with each other. But here's the bigger problem. It just seems like everybody's in the business. Everybody is in everybody's business. This person can't fuck with this person, otherwise this person's going to jump in. And if that person jumped in, that means that this person's going to jump in. And we don't want that person to jump in, because if they jump in, then they're going to jump in. And if they jump in, then these people have to jump in. And then all of a sudden, regular people like me with a podcast, and my wife who goes to work, and my friends, and people who take their kids to daycare, and we're all at risk. Because a few guys in some suits don't like each other. And we're all at risk. And what do? We feed into it, because what do the politicians do? Yeah, I'm going to fight for you, and I'm going to win for you, and we're going to put down the other party, and we're going to make America the best it can be. Oh, yeah, we got a long fucking way to go. I'm sorry, it's going to take more than a few presidents to do it. Because I don't care what you say. You can give Donald Trump you can give him the next 10 years. He's never going to make it great. You can give Joe Biden the next 10 years. He's never going to make this place what it could be. That's the issue. America is too far gone, folks. It really is. I really wholeheartedly believe that America is too far gone. It's too far gone. We are too wrapped up in our political bullshit, in our social bullshit, in our racial bullshit, in our economical bullshit. We are too far gone. And nobody seems to care. Nobody wants to pull it back. It's like AI. People tell you, hey, man, AI is going to fuck around and get your ass. But what do? Pedal to the metal, man. We figured out we could do it. Let's keep doing it. Even though there's a really, really, really pretty serious risk that AI will become self-aware. And once it becomes self-aware, we're fucked. But nobody cares as long as we can do it. As long as we're able to do it. In the words of, I think it was Dr. Malcolm, I forgot his name, Jeff Goldblum's character in Jurassic Park, he said something to the effect of, we were too busy celebrating the fact that we could, that nobody ever thought about if we should. And we don't care. We can do it. We can do it. So we're going to do it. But should we? Should we continue to do this? Should we continue to try and make machines that will someday maybe be more intelligent than we are? Should we? Should we do that? I'm not so sure. Some shit, me and my wife was riding the other day and we saw something in traffic that literally scared the shit out of us. Scared the shit out of us. Scared the absolute shit out of us. I'm driving and I look over in the other car and the other driver is dead sleep. This dude is knocked out. He is knocked out. He's driving a Tesla. He's in one of these Teslas, and he's got his, I guess, autopilot or self-drive feature activated. And when I looked over at this dude, I swear that we were all going to die. But it was maintaining the lanes and making the turns and da-da-da-da-da. He put the little GPS in and it did everything it was supposed to do. I don't trust that shit. I don't trust that shit. That hands-free, self-driving car shit, I don't trust that shit. You know, but hey, if we've proven one thing is that you don't buy the iPhone, you buy the iPhone S, right? So eventually this technology will begin to shake itself out and it will become normal. It will become normal. It'll become safe. It'll become, or as safe as it can be, because let's make no mistake about it. Would you rather have someone drunk drive you home, or would you rather have a self-driving car that is programmed to drive safely and get you to a destination as safely as possible? What's it going to be? Somebody smashed and obliterated till they don't know their own fucking name or their asshole from their elbow? Or would you rather have this self-driving car take you to the house from the bar? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Feel me? So there's a lot, folks. There's a lot going on in the news, man. We got to get it. We got to get together, man. We got to get ourselves together. We have to get it together here in the United States. We are spiraling out of control. And it just seems like more than ever, people are more focused on earning and making money as opposed to how to stop what is happening here in the United States, how to stop all the negative things that are happening in this country. And don't get me wrong, there are some positive things that have happened here in the United States, and I'm thankful for those things. But there's a lot of negative shit going on. And how are we going to get by it? Who is going to be the person to get us by it? I don't think it's Trump. I don't think it's Biden. It's definitely not DeSantis. I don't think it's anybody that we can foresee in the fucking future. I don't think it's the Kennedy guy. And I hate to say it, it's either going to be DeSantis. I hate to say it, it's either going to be Trump or it's going to be Biden again. And if you ask me, I keep saying, I keep trying to keep it out of politics, but I'm not going to vote for Trump. I can't vote for Trump, man. I just can't do it. I cannot do it because, like I said, I know about him well before his politics, and his politics sucked. And I knew him before his politics, and before his politics, he sucked. So I can't do it. I just can't do it because I feel like I would be letting New York down. So I'm not even remotely close to digging on that dude. So what else is happening? There was a federal judge that was that was killed. There was a guy killed. The guy killed the judge after the judge ruled in favor of to give his estranged girlfriend or his wife full custody of their child. This guy went and killed the judge. Let me say that again. This guy got ruled against, and his wife was awarded full custody of their child. And this guy went and killed the judge. Oh, he must be an evil man. Maybe he was just somebody who was at the end of his rope. Maybe he was somebody that was pushed so much that finally he cracked. He cracked in a really bad way. Society puts the squeeze on you, and they don't care about fair. They care about cash. They care about what can you do to make us money. They don't care about your kids. Make no mistake about it. They don't give a fuck about your kids, all right? Any politician or any state that says they care about your kids, they're fucking lying. They just want to get reelected, stay in office, keep their job. And I wholeheartedly believe this. The only people who genuinely and truly care about my kids is my family. My family. And that's just how I see it. That's how it's always been. That's how I've always looked at it. That's how I've always seen it. That's how it's always happened. So that's why I believe that. So we got a new Speaker of the House also. This guy's special as fuck. He doesn't seem to think that fossil fuels have anything to do with climate change. He just thinks that they're talking shit. Even though other Republicans have acknowledged the fact that this is a problem. Fossil fuels are, and I'm not saying every Republican, because of course we know where their loyalty lies in the oil business, and that's where this guy comes from. Is Louisiana oil country? And okay, that's expected. But he's been called probably like the most conservative speaker in history. And that can't be good for a lot of people. Because I look at it like this. The more extreme, the worse you are. If you are so far to one side that you can't see the other side, you're blind. You're blind. And that's the problem with politics, Democrats and Republicans. If you're so far over here that you can't see over there, or you're so far over there that you're missing what's going on over here, then you are blind. You're only getting half the picture, and you're only serving half the people. And that's it. You're only serving half. You're not serving everybody. And that's what to me, that's one of the biggest problems, is the willingness of bipartisanship between either party. Nobody wants to cooperate. Nobody wants to understand what their job is, which is to represent all, not just this side or that side, but all of the American citizens, all of the American people. That's the job of every politician, including the president, is to serve and make sure that all American citizens enjoy the successes and the amenities and the benefits of being an American. Regardless of how fucked up being American is lately. But it just seems like more and more people want to pass more and more votes to strip more and more Americans, or relegate more Americans to a place where they don't have any power. Let's put it like that. But like I said, shout out to the state of Georgia. Shout out to the state of Georgia for redrawing voter lines so that black voters have a voice. And I absolutely applaud that, because Louisiana just redrew voter lines so that blacks don't have much of a voice. think it was Louisiana, either Louisiana or Mississippi, one of them 3 states down there, one of the states down there, one of those 3 states down between Florida and Texas. But that's just absolutely ridiculous. To just so that we don't have, so that they can stay in power, so that we can't band together and vote you out. And that's why it is. It's not fair. Oh, we're just going to redraw the lines. For what? Why? Why are there lines in the first place? Stupid. It really is. It's just dumb. Wow, folks. What else? What else is going on here in the great old U.S. of A? Man. The governor of Florida, our governor here, has decided that he's had enough of it and he's going to send some weapons to Israel. You go, Ron DeSantis. That's right, man. You send those weapons to Israel. I think that shit is hilarious. This is like, this motherfucker thinks he's already the president. I'm going to send some weapons and some aid over to Israel from Florida. I think that is comical. I think it's comical. I think it's comical who this guy is. I think he's a straight up comic book character. Nah, I mean, he is disbanded on all school campuses, all college campuses, any pro-Palestinian groups, any student pro-Palestinian groups, which I don't necessarily think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. I really don't. Because that right there, that is hate. That is hate. And so many people, and watch this, you're going to see, based on this decision he made, how many people actually harbor hate. I know some great Palestinians. There were some dudes in Brooklyn that used to own a store around the corner from my house. Them dudes was awesome. They was awesome. Them dudes was awesome. They was nice dudes. They came over here with their families when they was young. They stayed till they was old men. They been here. They part of the neighborhood. Palestinians. It's a lot like that. There was a lot of bullshit when 9/11 happened. There's a lot of people who sit out here in these outer lying states all over the place that cannot imagine what happened there. They can just sit there. And I was there. I was there. I watched it happen. I watched it happen live. I was there. I wasn't, someplace where I was watching it on the news. I watched it in real time happen, not on the news, live as I was coming out of the subway station. And after that, there was a lot of violence in the city towards any person of Arab descent, regardless of what they were doing, regardless of anything. And there was just so much violence. And this go round, when this happened, there was a little Palestinian boy in Chicago that was stabbed and killed. And I want to know is, how do these people feel about it? How do you feel about that, Governor DeSantis? How do you feel about that? Everybody who has this hate that they harbor, how do you feel about the little 6-year-old Palestinian boy that was stabbed to death? How do you feel about that? I'm not choosing the side of the Palestinians, and I'm definitely not choosing the side of the Israelis. I'm not choosing anyone's side. If I'm choosing any side, I'm choosing the side of humanity. I'm choosing the side of compassion. I'm not choosing the side of revenge. I'm not choosing the side of retaliation. I'm not choosing the side of hate. I'm not choosing that. I am choosing the side of love. I'm always going to choose that, regardless of how militant I sound, because I am a pretty militant motherfucker. But I'm going to always choose the side of love, man. I'm always going to choose the side that makes people smile, as opposed to make people suffer. Those people are suffering. I've heard some vile, disgusting shit from American citizens talking about Palestinian children. They're just children, man. They don't know what the fuck's going on. They don't know what is happening in their world. Whole families being wiped out. And the same thing. The Palestinians, not the Palestinians, I won't even say it, Hamas. Hamas went in there and did it. Hamas. The Palestinians don't have anything. They have nothing. Okay? They have nothing. They don't have any money. They don't have natural. They don't have nothing. They have nothing. So, yeah, of course, it's easy for some entity like Hamas to come in and occupy, set up shop, and start running shit now, ain't it? These women and these children, you'll be hard pressed to make me believe that every single Palestinian shares that sentiment. And the reason why I say that is because, like I said, I know Palestinians and Jews that are friends. I know Palestinians and Jews that date each other, that have dated each other. I know Arabs and Jews that have married each other. I've seen stories of Arabs and Jews marrying each other. And I've seen all kinds of stuff really on social media from Jewish people condemning the actions of this war. You know, also condemning the actions of Hamas. So as much as everyone, oh, we must protect Israel. Okay. Then everybody needs to fucking back the fuck out then. And this is my wholehearted opinion. You can't, I think Israel needs to leave them alone, man. I really do. I think these people need to leave them alone. I think they have everything they could want. You know, they got a great military. You know, there's so much that they have that the Palestinians don't. And like I said, I am definitely not condoning what Hamas has done. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that these women and children, they don't need to be bombed and shelled like that. They don't deserve that. They don't on either side, man. They don't deserve that. And anybody who can sit up and choose one side over the other while, you know, civilians on both sides are being killed and massacred daily, shame on you. Shame on you. They're civilians. Civilians, man. I just live here, man. I don't give a fuck about Hamas. I don't give a damn about this shit. I just live here. I got 3 kids. I got a wife. You know, I work down at the convenience store or wherever it is I work at. But I don't give a fuck about none of this shit. This is all these militant motherfuckers that came over here and took over where I'm at. And we don't have the means to fight them. We don't have those means. But I had a friend that said, oh, you see see all these Hamas, all these Palestinians, and they're walking around. You see these kids, and they're walking around with AK-47s. Where'd they get those from? The same place that the other side got the M16s from. So everybody's guilty. The AK-47 is made in Russia, made by Russians. The M16 is made by us. And there you have it. It's us. It's all these bigger players funneling weapons down to these little areas so that these people can continue to fight and fight their wars based on their interests and their stabilization in the region. There's no diplomacy. There's only espionage. There's only hate, mistrust. It's wild. Listen, I'm going to take a break. And when I come back, we're going to continue with the Darren Harris Podcast, Potluck. You're listening to the Darren Harris Podcast.
Happy holidays, people. Shaq here. If you haven't already switched to the cartridge-free Epson EcoTank printer, how are those cartridges working out for you? They still constantly running out of ink, costing you a fortune and driving you crazy? Come on now, don't get cartridged. Switch to Epson EcoTank. EcoTank comes with big bottles of ink that you pour into EcoTank's 4 big ink tanks. So much ink you can print all you want. So don't get cartridged. This holiday season, switch to Epson EcoTank. Just fill and chill. Visit EpsonEcoTank.com.
Now, back to the Deron Harris Podcast.
Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to the show. Having potluck today. Just talking about a bunch of random shit. United States got a lot of problems that we have to tend to. That's right. We have all of a sudden become the country of fucking problems. We got issues. The former president really has some issues too, though. I mean, it just seems like everybody is jumping ship on this cat. And I mean, everybody knows how I feel about Donald Trump, so that's really nothing secret. That's no big secret. But I mean, it is kind of you gotta question all his people are jumping ship. You got people down in Georgia ready to turn around and testify against him. Dude up in New York, Cohen, turned on him, and Trump ended up storming out of the courtroom after he got fined for violating the gag order. He just doesn't want to do. He thinks he is above all rules. He thinks he doesn't have to play by anybody's rules, and that's what people like about him. And that is his appeal. His appeal to people is the fact that he is nonchalant. He turns his nose up at anything that he deems is beneath him. And a lot of his supporters feel the same way. They think that they are better than a lot of people in society. For some reason or another. I don't get it. Serious problems on the rise for former President Trump. But if he doesn't go to jail, he can still be the president. This dude could still run for president. If the election were to be held today, he would probably be the president. I mean, just being honest, people are rallying behind him. They really are. They're going to make sure this time that we get the White House back. He's got a lot of shit. He's got a lot of shit on his plate. And really, do we really want a president that has this much shit on his plate? Do we? This much baggage on his plate? Do we really need somebody who is this focused on himself and not the American people? I mean, you tell me. But I'm kind of down for somebody who's down for everybody. Not just down for him and some of his homies, man, because really that don't do shit for me. I don't do nothing for me. What else? There is a comet the size of Manhattan rocketing towards the Earth. If you haven't heard. Yep, that's right. If you haven't heard, there is a comet coming here, man. It's coming here. It's coming here towards us. We're not exactly sure what the trajectory is. That's the last that I heard. I'm not sure. Is it going to hit us? We don't know. If it does, it's the size of Manhattan. The asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, I believe, was 3 miles wide. 3 miles. wiped out all life on Earth. Manhattan, I believe, is 6 miles. 6 miles long. And like a couple of miles, 2 or 3 miles wide. And, yeah. If it hits us, it's over. All this shit that we talking about, the Middle East and the Ukraine and Trump and all this other bullshit that we're talking about is over. Fuck a Tesla. Fuck your lifestyles of the rich and famous. Fuck Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. Fuck all of that shit. It's done. Over. Out of here. It just seems so fucked up that something like this that could potentially just obliterate we're done. No more humans. But we're so focused on this bullshit here. We're so focused on this bullshit here. Not just us, everybody in the world. Everybody in the world so focused on their fucking self. I mean, for real. I mean, honestly, this is what I would like. This is, I don't know if I would like this, but this would be some shit if this were to happen. Like, instead of like the asteroid hitting us, like some aliens to come down here. Would we still be fighting amongst ourselves if there was some, motherfuckers say black. What the fuck you gonna do when some green motherfuckers show up if you don't get along with black folks? What the fuck you gonna do with some green motherfuckers? Especially if they come here and are more powerful than we are. And they don't listen to your bullshit. And they don't give a fuck about Democrats and Republicans. And they just want to incinerate us. And our weapons are worthless. And our technology is dated. Wouldn't that be some shit to see? What would we do? Would we keep fighting amongst ourselves? Or would we begin to realize that it's us, the people of Earth, against the universe? We are so minuscule, and we are trying so hard to wipe our very existence out of the universe. Because make no mistake about it, if we go to war, there's not going to be much left of this raggedy motherfucker. It's going to be nuclear fallout for years. For years. It's not going to be any place that our kids can be proud to grow up at. It's going to be devastated. It's going to be apocalyptic. It's going to be hell. And we are all contributing towards it and steady cruising right at it. Cruising right at our very own demise. Because of all of the shit that we have going on. All the shit that we have going on. We're in everybody's business. We don't believe in climate change. There's a bunch of infighting in our country, racism. There's just so many issues that really is preventing us from being the best that we could be. And I'm not just talking about the United States. I'm talking about the human race. I'm talking about our whole species. We are the best and the worst species on the planet. We are a gift and a curse to this landmass. We have created some beautiful things and then have turned around and destroyed it. We've poisoned our own citizens. We've killed our own family members. We are hurting here in the United States, folks, and that is the truth. And like I said, I think it has just gotten away from us. I think we are on the downward spiral. And I think what's happening now is everybody is just waiting, bracing for impact. Whether it's going to be World War III or it's going to be this asteroid that hits us or, civil war in the United States, whatever it is. I think everybody is just bracing for impact. Such a shame. It could have been such a great place. Could have been a great place. Could have been a great place for everybody. Some people, they got a great life anyway because they don't want for anything. But there's so many people out here that need. And there's way more people that need than people that don't. And the people that don't need have way more than they need. But they won't share. And they won't help because they don't care. I wish somebody did. I really do. I wish somebody cared enough. But, hey, it's 2023, 2024, and like I said, I think it's gotten away from us.
Mga pare, Eddie Bong Plaza po.
Eddie Bong Plaza, champion fighter and breeder.
Pagdating sa maintenance, gusto ko fresh ang matuka ng mga panabong ko. Kaya sa Silyado ako. Enertone 1 kilo pa.
Fresh? 1 kilo ng Enertone?
Oo, awat kilo Silyado para manatili ang freshness. Tama pa ang timpla. Kaya ang katawan ng panabong ko, maintenance pa lang, naka-precon na. Sa Thunderbird Enertone, laban o wala, laging handa.
Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to the program. Having some potluck today. Hopefully everybody's still with me. I won't take up too much more of your time. But before I go, I did want to mention something that I found that was very positive. Actually, I didn't find it. My wife found it. Now, as we all know here in the United States, the reason that black people were here is because we were brought here. And from us being brought here, the vast majority of us do not know where we come from. Our lineage trees are snapped because we were taken. So my wife actually stumbled upon a website that hopefully will change that. And the website is called AfricanAncestry.com. And it was made by black people for black people to help us trace back our lineage, trace back our roots. And it goes back from 500 to 2,000 years and can trace and can help us find out who we are. I talked with a friend about that today, that's very important to a lot of us, to find out who we are, where we come from. What is our history? What is our lineage? I think about that a lot. I mean, do I have a claim to something? Am I royalty? What was I? What would I have been? It is very, very, very exciting to understand that there is something that is designed for this. It's designed for African people or people of African descent. And I applaud the people who came up with it. I'll try and have some more information about it. But for right now, all I really know is you can go to AfricanAncestry.com. I think it's like $300 or something like that. But you get the swab, just like the rest of them. You swab, send it in, blah, 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 blah. They tell you where you come from, man. I think that's great. I think that's absolutely fantastic. So if you guys can, if you are interested or you're curious like I am, I say give it a shot, folks. Head on over to African Ancestry. Now, I'm not really getting any kickback or anything like that from that. I just thought it was great that, my wife stumbled upon this. Not like a 23andMe or Ancestry.com. It's not regular. It's different. It's not even the same company. It's African Ancestry, and that's what it's for, is African Ancestry. So I think that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Deron Harris Podcast, folks. Thank you very much again for joining me. I really, really do appreciate it, especially those of you who join me week in and week out, who tolerate my rants and sometimes my babblings. Thanks for sticking with me. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate you. I love you all. I really do. And thank you so much again. I want to thank my wife and my parents for being exceptional people and challenging me to be a better person, to seek knowledge, to seek understanding. You know, I get that from my parents. I want to thank my wife for being a great woman and just loving me, even though I have a lot of really, really, really red flags. So thank you very much, babe, for being amazing. I want to thank my best friend and my producer, Jesse Yandel, for being the man and sending me inflammatory content for me to comment on. Thank you for raising my blood pressure every week. And I want to thank, not least, I want to thank Gentry Thomas, the man who put the whole thing together and gives me my platform, or lends me the platform so I can get my point across to you folks. And I want to thank, last but not least, all of you who are listening to the Deron Harris Podcast. And anybody who may be contemplating listening in the future, if who's listening and you don't listen anymore, I want to thank everybody who has given my podcast an opportunity. So I hope I'm giving you guys better content. I hope I'm not babbling as much, and I hope that I will continue to get better and give you even better content. So until next week, folks, thank you very much for joining me at the Deron Harris Podcast, or on the Deron Harris Podcast. I'll see you guys next week. Until then, peace.
You've been listening to the Deron Harris Podcast. Subscribe to the show, give a good rating, and everything you need to know is at DeronHarris.com.